Fox 61 News at 10 starts now.
First at 10, not what you want to see in the days leading into Christmas Eve. Wind-driven, heavy rain, coastal flooding, and gusty winds. We'll get you through it coming up.
Right now at 10, following breaking news after a pedestrian was hit by a vehicle in West Hartford for the second straight day. We'll tell you what we've learned so far tonight.
Also, Electric Boat is getting $5 billion from the Navy to develop the next generation of submarines right here in Connecticut.
But we start things off here at 10 with a weather watch alert, as we're expecting heavy rain and wind to cause some problems, especially if you're traveling for the holidays. Good evening, I'm Ben Goldman.
And I'm Jen Bernstein. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. That storm is expected to reach Connecticut tomorrow evening, and rapidly colder temps could create icy conditions afterwards. We want to get right to Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank to time out those conditions for us. Rachel.
Yeah, it's one of those storms where I'm like, where do I start? Because there's so many different parts to talk about. So let's start with the timing. This will all get underway between around 3 and 5 o'clock tomorrow, late afternoon, early evening. But the rain that develops and the wind that develops are kind of no big deal during the day tomorrow. It won't be until after midnight that things get really wild with very heavy rain and strong gusty winds developing. And those winds could gust as high as 45 to 55 miles per hour. There's even a brief window of time right around daybreak that there could be an isolated gust up to around 60. 1.5 to 3 inches of rain. The worst of that rain coming down again after midnight Thursday night through right around daybreak on Friday morning. Even thunder could wake you up early before the alarm clock goes off. That results in travel issues, the chance for scattered outages, and we're also concerned about moderate coastal flooding that will peak on Friday morning's high tide. In advance of the winds and the chance for gusts up to about 55 miles per hour, the National Weather Service has issued a wind advisory just to warn people that if we see winds like this, scattered outages seem likely. Temperatures right now are in the 20s across the state. That's where the temperatures stay as we head towards daybreak. We start the day off dry. If you see any early sunshine, consider it a bonus. The clouds come in and we'll see that rain developing later in the day and at night. We'll step you through the rest of this storm and the big temperature tumble that follows. We go from 50s to freezing in a matter of hours. Your full forecast coming up.
It's going to be a roller coaster, Rachel. Thank you. And potentially strong gusts mixed in with that high tide and rain on Friday have crews all along the shoreline preparing for flooding.
They're warning people to be on alert and to be prepared the best that they can be ahead of this winter weather. Fox 61's Tony Black spoke with officials along the New Haven County shoreline on what you should do to stay safe.
Every day we're always preparing. We're always checking our equipment. You know, when a storm comes up, we, do some extra checking, make sure our cold weather suits are ready to go, our flotation suits, our rope rescue equipment.
The Connecticut shoreline is under a coastal flood warning this Friday as a combination of strong wind gusts, rain, and high tide is expected to impact the state. Water levels there could rise nearly 2.5 feet higher than normal. Milford Fire Battalion Chief Martin Halperin says they're getting ready to respond to areas of the city when the severe weather hits.
Milford has some inland flooding because of some of the rivers, but typically the heavy flooding is on the coastline.
New Haven officials are also keeping their eyes on the storm.
We've got vehicles that are stacked up with barricades and over-the-road flooding signs that will go out on Friday. We anticipate at high tide, which is 10:30 Friday morning, we anticipate some flooding along the coast.
Rick Fontana is the director of emergency operations for the city. He says they're catching a break because snow isn't in the picture, but the strong wind and cold aren't painting a pretty image just a few days from Christmas.
I think the more important thing is going to be the wind, the potential loss of tree limbs or trees.
Officials are warning people in areas prone to flooding to plan accordingly. Move your cars away from the spots that could end up underwater. And if you do encounter a flooded road, they recommend finding a different route.
I would not try to drive through it. It may look shallow, but it's not always shallow.
Parts of the state could see wind gusts up to 55 miles per hour. And with power companies estimating tens of thousands of power outages possible from this storm, it might be a good idea to get an emergency kit ready.
We're doing everything we can to ensure the safety of people around here. And again, we'll just hope that people heed our advice.
Eversource and United Illuminating say they are prepared with hundreds of crews ready to respond to the hardest hit areas and to make sure people aren't left in the dark for too long heading into the Christmas weekend. In the studio, Tony Black, Fox 61 News.
All right, thank you very much, Tony. And as you're getting ready for the holidays, make sure you download the free Fox 61 app. You can turn on alerts to get notified whenever winter weather is heading our way. It's also a great resource for breaking news and traffic conditions all across Connecticut.
We are following breaking news tonight out of West Hartford, where a second pedestrian was hit by a vehicle in just 2 days now. This crash happened on Mohegan Drive after an elderly woman was killed in a hit and run yesterday. Fox 61's Gabby Molina joining us live at West Hartford Police Department to tell us about this latest crash tonight. Gabby?
Well, Ben, the call for this latest crash first came in just after 5 o'clock this evening. That's almost exactly 24 hours after a woman was hit and killed by a car yesterday here in West Hartford. The scene has since cleared. Police are no longer on Mohegan Road anymore, but the investigation into exactly what happened is still ongoing. 2 pedestrian crashes just 24 hours apart in West Hartford. Wednesday evening, police say a person was hit by a car on Mohegan Road, left with life-threatening injuries.
A victim on scene was provided medical aid and sustained life-threatening injuries. The victim was transported to an area hospital and is currently in critical condition.
Police have not provided any details on who the victim is, but said the incident may have been a work-related injury and OSHA was called. The driver did stay on the scene and is cooperating, but West Hartford police are still looking for the driver of a deadly hit and run from the night before. 89-year-old Eugenia Yurovsky was hit and killed by a car at the intersection of Boulevard and Whiting Lane. Police believe a white sedan may have hit her. The 2 crashes adding to the concerning number of pedestrians hit by cars this year in Connecticut. According to Watch For Me CT, at least 70 pedestrians have been killed, a rise in these types of crashes.
Something happened with COVID where people started speeding very, very fast, more often. There's more aggressive driving, rage driving, and pedestrian deaths have just skyrocketed. This year is a new record. It's probably the highest in decades.
And West Hartford Police is asking anyone with information about either one of these crashes to give them a call. Live in West Hartford, Gabby Molina, Fox 61 News.
All right, thank you very much, Gabby. We are also following breaking news out of Windham County tonight after a crash involving a state trooper.
It happened in the town of Chaplin this evening. Fox 61's Sarah Sanchez joining us in the Breaking News Center with what we're learning right now. Sarah?
Well, Ben and Jen, state police say the crash happened on Route 6 just after 5:30 p.m. Paramedics were sent to the scene. Now, we don't have information right now about injuries or any road closures. Of course, we're following this very closely, working to learn more about what happened in this crash, including if there were any injuries. We'll bring you updates as soon as we get them in the Breaking News Center. I'm Sarah Sanchez. Ben, Jen.
All right, thank you very much, Sarah. And we're also following more breaking news, this time out of New Haven, where firefighters are investigating a fire inside of a vacant Pennsylvania. This happened on Poplar Street. When firefighters arrived on the scene, they said 2 people were found inside. They were evacuated from the building and weren't hurt. Officials say Poplar Street is closed off right now, while public works crews work to salt and stand that road that quickly froze over from those frigid temps.
All that water was used to put out those flames as well. Tonight, Hartford police are investigating the capital city's 39th homicide of the year. It happened early this morning on Canton Street. Police have identified the victim as 23-year-old Jose Rodriguez of Manchester. They also added that this was clearly a targeted attack. Police say this is the deadliest year in Hartford in quite a long time.
We're seeing personal disputes all over the place, and how do you combat that? I said it before, people have a disagreement, they pick up a gun and they shoot. We can't be in apartments, we can't be in hotel rooms, we can't be everywhere at once. A lot of our suspects of these homicides that we've arrested, you've come to find out they've had many violent arrests. Hartford Police has done their job over and over and over again, as well as any other departments. It's just it's a battle everybody's fighting right now.
Police also adding that while homicides are up, non-fatal shootings are down from this same time last year.
We are following developing news tonight out of New Haven, where police are investigating after a school bus was grazed by a bullet. Police responded to reports of gunfire on Lamberton Street near Kimberly Avenue just before 3 this afternoon. The school bus was on Lamberton when it's believed a ricocheted bullet hit the side. 4 students were on the bus and thankfully were not injured. Pretty scary, though. All right, new at 10, electric boat in Groton is getting more than $5 billion to build Columbia-class submarines. EB is the primary contractor in the Columbia program, which will replace aging Ohio-class subs. The $5.1 billion will go toward building the subs, which will enhance the Navy's fleet. At 560 feet long and nearly 21,000 tons, the Columbia subs will be the largest ever built by the U.S. Work is expected to be completed by October of 2030.